Somehow, Time Thief managed to do extremely well out of its OTS. Nekroz are back with some more competition. We have Pendulum Magicians. Actually, we just have a lot of very strong, interesting meta for you. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more honest content. I saw this and I wanted to talk about this. This is actual Time Thief playing the full Armored Exceeds package. Your entire game plan is, Time Thief Redoer Perpetua set up. And then, of course, you have the re-engineered Raiders Wing Force Strix combo. I don't know if a lot of people are too familiar with how this worked, but just kind of free little extensions so you can kind of climb up and do your thing. And, of course, Overlay Network being an extremely good card that this deck actually kind of has access to. I'm genuinely impressed that this actually pulled itself together. I don't know a lot of the intricacies of this. Obviously, we just did get power reserves, so it is kind of nice to see that the meta is wide enough open that Time Thief can actually perform, especially free level 4s that we can special summon on out here and just start Exceed turboing. All right, next up here, we have Nekroz. I should have known that this wasn't going to be just a normal Nekroz day. Our dear friends Ken and Gan are here to make sure that our thrust and our talents will be live. I swear, man, every single day, these cards get more and more broken. All right, like it's just, hey, pass this on over to your opponent. All right, well, go ahead and sculpt my hand, discard, set up, oh, look, thrust. And then, of course, the rest of this is just going to be, floodgates off of the unicorns, the typical interactions with these. You also have Fenrir to kind of hold down the fort out here as well. And then, see, we are playing a Pot of Avarice, too. That's actually really cool. And then, of course, we are playing a singular copy of White to Howling. I see we also side in, like, Ben 10 and Natasha as well. This deck has a lot of cool moving parts for it that I really don't know if I would have considered trying out here. Nekroz, especially, making top cut. Okay, next up here, we have some pendulums. Disclaimer, I have been wanting to see more and more of these pendulum builds actually kind of taking off. I think that a lot more people are kind of doubting and not wanting to really explore this deck because it does feel a little bit behind. We don't have Electromite, so you're kind of a little bit more forced and limited to things you can do. Wings of Light has been a 2-of, actually, for a little bit now. I still think you want to play 3 of this, but okay. I'm playing 2 Darkworm with 2 Dragon. This duels likes a lot of 2-ofs here. We are maximizing on Gate Magician as we should be. 2 Duelist Alliance, that's okay. Extra deck, Double Beyond, and 1 Exceed, that's pretty normal. We do the Odd Eyes Vortex play. And, of course, side deck, I see we are doing a Majesty's Pegasus with the Secret Village of the Spellcasters so that you can kind of dump out, the little Spellcaster lock and laugh at your opponent, because who doesn't like your opponent not getting the chance to play the game? Me. Ha! How many times have we seen this Horus package with Phantom Knights? Like, well, look at this deck. Like, we've seen this. This has been a pretty recurring thing in our meta as lately. It's kind of nice to actually see that, this deck is coming back into the meta and doing its thing. I think, for the most part, though, you still go down the Phantom lines. You still end on, Fogblade. Typically, the Adventure package with the Griffin Rider. And kind of depending on if you see your Horus package or not. I also think it's important to note that we're still not the other Horus monsters still not seeing play. Most of these builds did up to the Dumbledef though, because this is free draw power for the deck. Do not underestimate this good card giving you a draw 3, draw 4. All right, like things can kind of start to go pretty insane for you at certain points and start getting that free advantage train. Next up here, it's my Arch Nemesis. Why are you playing gold? Alright, well, this duelist wanted to get a little bit saucy out here in the Dark World department, and they're playing 2 gold, or 1 gold for probably cleanup, instead of, dedicating the slots to the 2 Silvas. We're also only playing 1 copy of the Dark Corridor. I don't know if I agree with that. I think 2 is probably your optimized number because you want to make sure that you can actually see it. Like, typically the 1-of is okay, but 2 is pretty much a little bit more maximized. See, we are playing a Bigfoot. Only one Cerulean, that's pretty standard. I see that we are doing Ken and again here. It's just a normal day in the office, man. It's free Dark World discard fodder. Technically, I mean, you could technically discard the gold to trigger, but honestly, I think probably Silva's going to be your best outlet to punish the opponent. Next up here, hey, it's more of this deck. I'm telling you, man, Centurion actually, I underestimated the showing of this deck. I think that this deck actually performed a lot better. A lot more people got their stuff. Also, hi to copies of Vision Resonator. How are you? Only playing 2 with the 1 Crimson Gaia is fine. Hoppy and the triple copies of Imseti. That's pretty normal with the 1 Blessings. So yeah, we're still extending out that package. Most of that is fine. We're only playing 1 copy of the King's Sarcophagus. We're already on 41 cards. I don't think you make the argument to bump the Kings up. I think you stick to just the 1 for what you want it to do. Extra deck, we are playing a red Supernova Dragon. Interesting. I guess Cosmic Blazar is usually the go-to, but alright. Interesting little plays for this deck. Next up here, we have a last place Trickstar deck. Now, why am I covering a last place deck? They put it up on the internet. I wanted to talk about it, man. Like, technically, if you can do what Bortle did and hit the high roll for most of a regional and, you know, hit reincarnations and drolls and, you know, cut your opponents off, it's pretty good. Now, this build is doing some interesting stuff with the Mahamas and the side deck here. You can special summon this card from your hand and apply an effect. You can give life points equal to battle damage, inflict damage your opponent equal to that battle damage. It's interesting. Then I see we are playing the Sky Scourge Invincibles. And here, guess what? Light Fairy. You're going to be getting a very good negate the effects of all spell cards up and running here, which is going to be pretty punishing to your opponent. Now, I genuinely am impressed that this only managed to get last place, because it does have enough cards that it feels like it could at least pull off a 2-2, but sometimes variance is just against you, and life actually happens. Next up here, wow, Heroes. 42 cards. We are maximizing on Stratos, as we should be. Ratios all are fine. We're not doing D-Force or anything for the Plasma. Honestly, D-Force feels like DLC content for this deck. Like, it helps the deck out somewhere along the way, but it doesn't always feel like it makes the deck better. Alright, like, it's honestly kind of the truth. Like, it does help, but it's not really enough. See, we are assigning Book of Eclipse 2 big balls. Most of the side deck stuff here looks pretty good. Only 2 or triple copies of Droplet. Honestly, you do need some board breaking options to make sure that you can play the game. Yeah, we are playing Favorite Contact, as we should be. Yeah, most of this, I don't have any complaints. Once again, I mean, like, Hero typically feels like an extremely flushed out deck. It's kind of disappointing to say, hey, you know, we don't get a lot of innovations, but it's something. Next up here, Drytron. Wow. Shimber me. A crazy man. I'm glad to see that a more factor pain skipped the main phase 1. Flip the battle ruler off your opponent, the handshake. Oh yeah, you just got the thrust on in to the Thunder of Ruler after the Amor Factor Pain. Your opponent is not. That's our favorite saying. See that we are playing the Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon down here. That's kind of cute. See, we're playing the Chaos Max as well. Full force on the Curry Karas too. We're not playing any Ashes. Wow. This build is just not really worrying about a lot of the stuff in the meta. It's good to go. Your ritual stuff is fine, I feel like. One of Lancia for the Ben 10 search, if need be. And of course, we also play the Vanities Ruler to search off as well. And extra deck feels pretty flushed out, honestly, for this deck. Yeah, I don't see anything else really worth mentioning here. Good stuff. And our last list here is Flunderies. Huh. We are playing a Jack in the hand. Okay, I mean, it's got what it is at this point in time. I mean, this is a cute little tech choice. It shows up every once in a while. It kind of does its thing. We do play the 1 Mega Rise and 1 Apex. Triple M-Pen. That feels pretty standard. We are main deck and shifter. Yep, I guess we have to be that guy. Gotta maximize and punish those opponents. We are playing one unexplored winds in the side, one in the main, and we are playing a salesman. Oh, and the best part, yeah, we can actually dedicate a normal summon to a fossil Dinopachicephalo and tell our opponent they cannot. Good stuff. So what do you guys think about these decks? Please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.